This is a very interesting subject, very important subject also. How RSS is involved in the man-making process. A fantastic demonstration of man-making can be seen in how Sri Narendra Modi is handling India and the world. The rulers, the kings, the presidents, the political parties, and for that matter, many within India and outside. Man-making, not men-making, man-making. When Sri Narendra Modi was elected as the Prime Minister of India, the question asked to Barack Hussein Obama. I never heard that he said like this. Barack Hussein Obama, American president, said like this. I came to know only very recently. The moment the question was asked to him about Narendra Modi's election as the Prime Minister of India, immediately it appears that Sri Obama said, India will be growing from now onwards on her cultural background and cultural foundation. American president was so strong in commenting that India will grow from now on her strong cultural background. He could understand that. He could foresee that. And later, BBC correspondent Mr. Burke, he said, who always hated India. You know, many people in Washington Journal or Washington Post and the New York Times, they every day they publish something against Narendra Modi and India, Indian culture and Indian values. They are always on the list of India haters, Indian culture hating group. This man was also like that. Mr. Burke was also like that. But the moment that Sri Narendra Modi started doing very many things based on Indian culture, Indian values and Indian spiritual outlook and Indian cultural background, he said, I never respected India, but now I respect India. Why? Because India is now marching forward through her cultural background, through her cultural values, not merely copying other countries. You can see that Sri Narendra Modi is powerfully Indian, and he never bothers to play the pseudo secularism and the distorted secularistic card. He never looked into that aspect. And wheresoever he go, in India and outside India, he strictly follows the spiritual, the cultural values of India. He used to demonstrate that, never hide it. To get a clapping or applause, he never played the role of meeting all religious backgrounds so that he can make these spiritual and cultural visits as vote bank marketing or vote bank creation. He was very clear about everything. The Ganga cleaning, simultaneously Yamuna cleaning, and Rama Janmabhoomi. These are all something which is far beyond the level of our imagination. He visited hundreds of temples. I am sure about it. And he visited Shirdi Sai Baba. He visited Tirupati. He visited Guruvayur temple. He visited Sri Gandeshwaran temple in Kozhikode. He visited Padmanabha Swami temple. And in Mahabalipuram, when he received Chinese premier, fully based on Indian cultural and Indian values. And you can see powerfully Rama Janma Bhumi Puja was performed 100% under the guidance of 5 Vedic scholars, Pakka Vedic scholars. And we cannot even imagine such a thing happen in the past 2000 years in India. And Vedic scholars guided him just like a Bhumi Puja performed by an individual for his home. Grahastha Ashrami performing a Bhumi Puja. He performed everything systematically and custommatically. World over people were watching that one. His dressing, his action, his mantra, tantra, yandra, everything. Some of the Indians criticized the so-called intellectuals, the so-called minorities, leftist. They criticized that should never be telecasted through Doordarshan. He never bothered about it, and he performed the Bhumi Puja perfectly, worshipped all the temples, and it was telecasted through Doordarshan world over. It reached. So it is Pakka demonstration after demolishing a building which was named as Babri Masjid, and the rebuilding of that temple. One negative of demolishing a building, and another can be he is very strongly with the Rama Janmabhoomi fighters. Never bothered whatsoever may be the criticism. And he performed Narmada Puja. Pakka Narmada Puja he performed. And Ganga Arati he performed, Ganga Snanam he performed, Ganga Puja he performed, and also Kashi Vishwanath temple Puja he performed. And exclusively because of the governmental methodology, all the slums around Kashi Vishwanath temple were removed, and they were given the compensation, and Pakka Kashi Vishwanath temple is coming into picture. Pakka based on Hindu Dharma, the oldest temple mentioned in all the Puranas and Upapuranas, for which he never bothered about negatives of the criticism of a secularist or pseudo-secularist. He performed powerful puja in Kashi Vishwanath temple, powerful puja in Sri Rama temple, powerful puja in Narmada, powerful puja. What I say powerful, not merely so-called strong, but demonstrating the world that India is a Hindu land, Hindu cultural land, and getting into the Ganga river and taking the complete snanam there, taking a bath there, performing the tarpana and bringing that water for performing the puja in Varanasi. And you can see he performed the puja in Sindhu river while going for a sudden visit to the military camp in Ladakh. Sindhu puja performed perfectly. And he performed the puja in Badrinath. And a project of not less than 337 crores sanctioned for renovating Badrinath. 800 crore worth rupees given for renovating Kedarnath and building the roads for that, and Chardham Yatra performance, and renovated a fantastic temple where the flag hoisting done 500 years ago in Gujarat. In the top of the hill we can see that one, the performance of the puja done, hoisting of the red flag done, and now it is said that millions of people, I am using the word millions of people are visiting the temple in the top of the mountain. It was closed, and it was under the hands of the Muslims after they conquered that 500 years back, the Mughals. That you could see that when it is brought to life. And when he went to, not only he, the president also went to Bangladesh, he went and worshipped the Shakti Sthal of Bangladesh. And when he went to Sri Lanka, definitely he visited the Christian church, which was completely broken by the jihadis. And also he did the reconstruction of a Christian church in Jammu Kashmir and handed over it to the Christians. Definitely he did it. But it was not for showing the pseudo-secularism. It was not for showing the pseudo-secularism that I am also with the Christians so that they will be giving me the vote bank support. No. He perfectly strongly told the military group, keep in your mind Sudarshanadhari Lord Krishna and march forward. Sudarshanadhari Lord Krishna. And his ways of consecrating Shankaracharya idol, Ramanujacharya idol, and Hanuman idol, and Sri Rama idol, and naming many cities, removing the so-called Mughals or Dutch people or French or English, putting our heritage names, supporting all the chief ministers of the states to rename the towns, the cities, the corporations, and so on, using the old name itself, our heritage name. And he came to Guruvayur, as I said, and performed Tulabharam, which was a specific ritual in Kerala. And he funded a big amount for renovating Padmanabha Swami temple, 75 crore. 235 crore rupees sanctioned to Guruvayur temple for building the rest house, guest house, and so on. Nobody criticized that. Nobody said anything negative. Nobody could argue with him. This is what he did in India. And wheresoever he goes, there also he performed the same thing. He went and visited the Bahrain temple and gave a big amount for the renovation of the temple. And he is instrumental for building the fantastic Swaminarayana temple in Abu Dhabi in 25 plus 10 plus 15 hectares of land. 25 hectares of land given for the temple, 10 hectares given additionally for unloading many of the construction material, 15 hectares given for the car parking and vehicle parking. And such a thing is happening because it is only because of bringing the Indian culture back to the foundation. And his Namaste is very well accepted. Wheresoever he goes, Indian community come and chant mantras. And that is without any reservation. He never allowed, or the organizers never ventured to put Christians, Muslims and Hindus together to show the world the pseudo-secularism which the Congress were following up to now. Such a system was not there at all. In Mongolia, the Buddhist remnants were sent, and Mongolia has become a fantastic friend of India. And in Nepal, he went and said that when all Nepalese Buddha temple, Buddhist institutions will come under the Central Buddhist Trust of India. The Nepal agreed for that. And in Ayodhya also, South Korean Queen is donating the the wall and the gate for the Ayodhya garden. Collaboration in the spiritual level also. And he explained about the Japanese gods through the names of Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, Lakshmi, Saraswati, Parvati, how Indian culture, Indian gods and goddesses are named in Japanese language in Japan. So wheresoever he goes, we can see that he is touching and entering to the great palace of Indian culture. Whether it is in Hague, Bahrain, Dubai or other countries, making it clear that he is a Hindu, he will be a Hindu, his culture is Hinduism, and he will be doing everything for Hindu Dharma, India, Indian culture. Never bother what the West thinks, never bother what the Europe thinks. We are not bothered about it. We are strongly standing, sitting, lying, walking and running in the Indian cultural values. Our Sri Rama and our Sri Krishna, they are all the words, names coming in the words, within the words of our Prime Minister. Now world knows, as Obama said, India is and India will be moving through Indian culture. Now all over India it has become a practice. Our Andhra Chief Minister Jagmohan Reddy also started showing that he is a Hindu, even though he is a Christian. But the Hindu name, Hindu words, Hindu rituals, Hindu songs, all these are gaining fast entry into the mind of the people. The Congress is keeping quiet, Communist Party keeping quiet. The so-called minorities, Christians and Muslims are also keep mum. They are not bothering about it. Whereas all over India, the education system is bringing back to the cultural values. Bhagavad Gita is becoming the part of the syllabus. And Indian cultural education is gaining momentum. Tipu has been removed from the freedom fighters list. And the so-called achievements and misinterpreted stories of Mughals and Muslim rules and the foreign rules, they all got removed from the syllabus. Nobody protested it. Everybody kept quiet. And this you can see. Even in consecrating the Ashoka Stamba in the central vista, in presence of 4 again strong Vedic scholars, complete puja was performed. Complete puja was performed for the Ashoka Stamba, just like consecrating an idol in a temple in the top of central vista. Ashoka Stamba was consecrated with Vedic rituals and Vedic mantra. In a Vedic dress he did it. Our Prime Minister did it in a Vedic dress. Remember that. Such a way. He is chanting Veda mantra in UNO and also in our parliament. And wheresoever he goes, he quotes from Indian cultural textbooks, Indian values. Thus, our Prime Minister is leading India towards an Indian culture, a rule based on Indian values. Not like Mahatma Gandhi's Rama Rajya, but a real Rama Rajya and a real Krishna Rajya. It is entirely different from Mahatma Gandhi's Ramarajya and Mahatma Gandhi's Krishna Rajya. We are sure what Gandhiji practiced and what is written in Bhagavad Gita are North Pole and South Pole, diametrically opposite. But Narendra Modi's Bhagavad Gita interpretation and practicing are entirely different compared to Mahatma Gandhi. India is coming back. India is taking the values from the past and spreading it world over in the most beautiful way. Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas. Not only applicable in India but also applicable world over. Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas. As Dr. Jaishankar said, what we should do, that we will think. Don't instruct us what we should do. This is Ramarajyam. And never bowing in front of the powerful nations, because we are not their slaves. That is Ramarajyam. That we will explain later. Now I am sure Sri Narendra Modi is taking India to Pakka Hindu Rashtra, strongly, powerfully, suppressing anti-national in India and outside India, encouraging the cultural values, our spiritual values, from India and from world over, uniting Trinidad, Guyana, Fiji, and the countries where Hindus are also almost majorities, giving the patronage to them and say that we are here to protect you. This is our Narendra Modi, a cultural stalwart. What he says and what he does same, complementary to each other. Let us pray a long, long life and energetic time and pathways for our Prime Minister to rule our country, to lead the world, as Mexican President said. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.